Hello everyone, welcome to the Oracle of the Central Sun. I am Michelle. Welcome to my channel. This video is about the Saturn Neptune conjunction, and this is happening on the 20th of February. Where I'm at in South Africa, it's happening at around about 4 minutes to 3 p.m. in the afternoon, so adjust for your time zone. So we've heard so much lately about the Saturn Neptune conjunction. These conjunctions occur every 37 years or so, so they don't happen very often because these are two slow moving planets. And this conjunction at 0 degrees of Aries is even more rare, and it hasn't happened in thousands of years. And this feels quite significant because symbolically 0 degrees of Aries is a brand new start. It's the start of the astrological new year, and symbolically it is the start of all things new, and where all new seeds are being planted. So this feels like a very important conjunction that we are experiencing here in our lifetimes, and something certainly very rare that we are experiencing in our lifetimes. So I wanted to do a rising sign by rising sign to just get us into that feeling of what we are dealing with here. I will link my other video that I did about Saturn and Neptune below. There's also a lot of valuable info in there, and certainly start with that video if you haven't seen that one. But for now, I just want to bring us back again to the contradiction that we're actually dealing with Saturn and Neptune. They are very different kind of energies. So the condensed version is that Saturn is about time and timelines, and Neptune is timeless. Saturn is about limits and boundaries and constraints, and Neptune is about the infinite. Saturn puts boundaries in place, and Neptune dissolves boundaries. Saturn is about a hard reality, and Neptune is about the subtle and formless. So you can see what contradictions we are dealing with here. And when two planets conjunct, they are literally melting their symbolic energies together into one place. And often Saturn and Neptune can be seen as challenging, but it can also be so helpful because Saturn can help Neptune to bring all of those formless things into reality. So please look at that other video if you haven't seen it, or if you want to refresh yourself. The link will be below. So I wanted to kind of focus today on the contradiction that we can experience at this time in terms of Saturn being discipline, where in our lives we need more discipline in order to make Neptune, our dreams, a reality. And then to turn that around with Neptune, where do we need to surrender in order to have our highest experience in reality? So these are things that I want you to contemplate, meditate on, and think about where they fall for you in your life. I'm going to go by rising sign. If you don't know your rising sign, you can also use your sun sign. And if you're born at night, you can also check out your moon sign, because that also might be very relevant for you. And I'm going to briefly just read through the energetic symbology of Saturn and Neptune again, and then I'll go straight into the rising signs, because you can go back to the other video if you want more in-depth info. So Saturn is about time, it's about limits, boundaries, contraction, constraint, hard reality, the concreteness of reality. It's about tradition, it's about age, maturity, endings, things that can feel weighty and heavy, confinement, rigidity, isolation, solitude, discipline, concentration, conciseness, precision. It's about patience, responsibility, seriousness, wisdom. It can be about control and negation or saying no. And then Neptune is about the transcendent, the spiritual, the ideal, the symbolic, the imagination, the subtle, the formless, the intangible, the invisible, the timeless, immaterial, the infinite, our dreams, our visions, mysticism, mystical union. It's about surrender. It dissolves boundaries. It's about merging. It's about illusion, delusion, self-deception, deception, escapism, intoxication, confusion, fantasy, expanded consciousness, and expansion or saying yes to more. So just feeling into these energies and these opposites, I feel is already so powerful, because we all carry all of these energies and archetypes inside us. And the more we feel into exactly what they are, the more we can choose the highest in order to bring those things into our lives. So I'm now going to go rising sign by rising sign. I drew a card as insight and guidance for each rising sign, and then relating it back to where we can have more discipline to make our dreams a reality, and where do we actually need to surrender in order for reality to become more concrete. So first up is Aries rising. So of course Aries, the Saturn Neptune conjunction falls for you in your first house, and this is all about who you are. So you can think about at this time, where do you need more discipline in yourself, and how to become more of you by having more discipline and limits and boundaries. And on the opposite side, where do you may need to surrender in order for this to become more real and your experiences to come into concrete reality. So play with these opposite archetypes. And the card that showed up for Aries rising is the Hierophant. And the Hierophant is all about spiritual authority. So I feel for Aries rising, there's something about who you are, as this is about your first house, but it is around how you take charge. Are you your own authority in your life, or where do you need authority from others, or where do you need to step away from submitting authority to other people and becoming more of an authority in your own life? And then we have Taurus rising. So for Taurus rising, this Saturn Neptune conjunction falls for you in your 12th house. Now this is a more liminal space. For Taurus right now, you could feel that you are drawn to more esoteric things. You are drawn deeper into spirituality, connection to other realms. And with Saturn even wanting to spend more alone time, maybe meditating, journaling, walking in nature, or, connecting to spirituality in a different way than you are used to. And the card that showed up for Taurus is actually the Queen of Pentacles. Now, Pentacles is the earth element, and this queen is focusing on what she wants to bring into reality. And this is quite interesting because the 12th house is quite a liminal space. It is not necessarily about concrete reality. And I feel this even speaks about that contradiction that we have with Saturn and Neptune. So for Taurus right now, find that space. This card is very closely related to nature. Find a place of solitude. Really bring your practices into nature. Connect to the earth. Connect to the abundance of nature and the planet. And see where you need more discipline in your spiritual world and where you need to actually maybe do the opposite and surrender, and feel into how that is going to unfold for you. And then we have Gemini rising. For Gemini, the Saturn-Neptune conjunction falls for you in your 11th house. And the 11th house is one of the social houses. It is where we connect to groups, to friends, to benefactors, to those colleagues at work, to people that come and help us in our life, like coaches and other leaders that inspire us. And so for Geminis, there might be a point that you are reaching right now where you need to decide how much you want to connect to certain groups, which groups you want to say no to or need to say no to, and maybe which other people and groups and leaders and benefactors you need to now connect to more. Where do you need to surrender to leadership, or where do you actually need to have a boundary and actually have more of your own discipline to step into your dreams? And what showed up here for Gemini is the 5 of Swords. So this card for me in this context with the 11th house is all about picking your battles wisely. With Saturn, Neptune, sometimes it's better to walk away than to get into maybe a discussion or an argument that can't be won. So be careful when broaching more controversial subjects in those spaces of groups and colleagues and friends, and really be more disciplined in what you want to share, how much you want to bring, and when it is actually appropriate to have a more heated discussion in these groups. So then we have Cancer rising. For Cancer rising, the Saturn-Neptune conjunction falls for you in your 10th house. And the 10th house is your career space. It is where you show up in public life. And what showed up for you, Cancer, is the 10 of Cups. So there could be a period here for Cancer risings where you have come to a place where you feel like something beautiful has been fruitful in your life. You are experiencing this beautiful emotional abundance, and you are feeling quite content in that space. And this card is asking Cancer risings, where do I need to find more discipline in order to sustain this beautiful emotional abundance that I am feeling? And where do I need more discipline in order to bring more of this into my reality? And then the opposite side, where do I maybe need to surrender a bit more in order to experience more of this beautiful emotional abundance and fullness in my world and in my career and in my public space? And then we have Leo rising. For Leo rising, this falls for you. The Saturn Neptune conjunction is in your 9th house. The 9th house is a spiritual place. It is a place where we connect to teachers and teachings. It can be a space where you yourself are becoming a teacher. And sometimes it is also about where we connect to other cultures. The card that showed up for Leo rising is the 5 of Pentacles. And the 5 of Pentacles can sometimes be a card that really feels quite isolating. So this card shows us that side of Saturn where these two are kind of outside in the snow. They're walking away and they're feeling quite isolated. And for Leo risings, I want you to ask yourself, in terms of your spiritual life, where is this maybe exactly what you need right now? Where is walking the path alone instead of going back into that institution, and where other spiritual teachers may reside at this point? Where is it okay to surrender to right now to walk this path on your own, and to know that even though it can feel isolating at times, that you have it all inside of you, and you can always turn back to other institutions and other teachers if you need to. But right now, maybe walking the path alone is exactly what is required. And then for Virgo rising, the Saturn Neptune conjunction falls for you in your 8th house. And the 8th house is also a liminal space. It is a bit of an esoteric space where we're dealing with more inner things, with mental health. And it is also a space where we connect to how we share with others, how we share love, intimacy, inner and outer resources and money with other people. So for Virgo rising, where do you need more discipline in how you connect and share with others in terms of intimacy, money, resources? And maybe on the flip side, where is there more surrender required in terms of a place of surrender can bring you to a deeper, more joyful space? And the card that showed up for Virgo rising here is the 5 of Wands. And the 5 of Wands can be a card that is about conflict, but it can also be a card that really shows us where we are ready to have boundaries and where we are ready to defend our own views. So in the aspect of relating this to the 8th house, this is all about having boundaries around how much you share, how you want to share your intimacy, how you share money and resources with others, and where maybe better boundaries are required in order to not come to a place of conflict. And then we have Libra rising, and this Saturn Neptune conjunction falls for you in your 7th house. Now the 7th house is all about personal relationships. It can be about business partnerships, sometimes in small business environments or even big business environments, depending on the types of relationships. It can be about managers or bosses. And if you are a service provider, it's also about the clients that you deal with. So where do you need more discipline at this time to bring your dreams into reality, Libra? And on the flip side, where do you maybe need to surrender more in order to have a joyous experience in your reality? And what showed up for Libra is the Strength card. And the Strength card is always about being strong. It's about being firm in your boundaries, as well as we're dealing with Saturn. But it is also about bringing that unconditional love. You can see the infinity sign above her head is that unconditional love, and bringing the unconditional love into our boundaries, and so taming those more challenging situations and relationships by having firm boundaries and having kindness and combining those two. This is what is required for you right now, Libra rising. And then for Scorpio rising, this falls for you in your 6th house, Saturn and Neptune at 0 Aries. And the 6th house is the house of work. It is a house of daily schedules. It is the house of how you look after your health. So it's all about how you set out your day. It's about deciding to get up early to exercise. It's about having routines that actually work for you in your life, Scorpio. So where right now are you being called into having maybe a little bit more discipline in order to bring your dreams into reality, in order to be more healthy, in order to look after yourself? Or in your workspace, maybe where do you need to surrender in terms of what is unfolding in your life and not push so hard? So play with those, with a contradiction in terms of discipline, control, and surrender, and see where that falls for you, Scorpio. What showed up for Scorpio rising is the 7 of Cups. And the 7 of Cups is about choices. It is also about dreams. So Scorpio, in the workspace or in the health space and your daily schedules, you may be confronted with a lot happening at once at the moment. And it could feel like a lot of different dreams are showing up, and they all want to unfold into your experience at this time. So it is very important to bring that Saturn element into what is unfolding. Find your boundaries, find where to have more discipline and say no, and only choose those dreams that really are important. Don't try to do too many things at once, otherwise you get lost in all of these things that are happening up here. So find a balance between that discipline and surrender, and choose wisely when it comes to what dreams are unfolding for you right now. And then we have Sagittarius rising. For you, the Saturn Neptune conjunction is happening in your 5th house. And the 5th house is a place of joy. It is all about doing hobbies and playing sport and doing leisurely things that make you happy. And it can also be about children. So, and also about romance. So all of those things that really bring us beautiful joy into our lives. And what showed up for Sagittarius rising is the Ace of Cups, which is all about our emotions, and really beautiful emotional experiences can show up for Sagittarians right now. So for you, Sagittarius, where can you connect to more joyful, beautiful experiences that really make you feel like your emotional cup is overflowing. You might need the discipline to say no to those experiences that no longer work for you in order to go to those experiences that bring you this beautiful emotional overflowing cup. Or otherwise, where do you need to surrender to what wants to unfold instead of controlling, so that these beautiful experiences can show up for you in your emotional life? And then for Capricorn rising, the Saturn Neptune conjunction is happening for you in your 4th house. Now this is all about your home. What is unfolding in your home? What is unfolding with your family experience, your ancestry? Those experiences in your intimate space that bring you joy, or maybe that are really challenging right now. So what showed up for Capricorn rising is the 4 of Swords. And this is actually, for me, leaning more towards the side of Neptune in terms of needing rest. So using the element of Saturn to say no when too many things are going on at once, to really look after your own well-being, and Neptune to maybe lie down, rest, go deeply into your own dreams, surrender to those things that really are calling you, and know that it is perfectly okay to take time out when you need it in order to look after yourself in your home space. And then for Aquarius rising, the Saturn Neptune conjunction is happening for you in your 3rd house. The 3rd house is all about your mind, your communication patterns, how you learn. It can also be about your neighborhood, those places around you that you travel to on a daily basis. And it can also be around siblings. And so when we are thinking about all of these things, especially our minds, how we learn, how we communicate with others, where do you need more discipline in this area, Aquarius, in order to really make your dreams a reality in terms of where you want to go with your own learning experiences, the experiences you want to have with your siblings, experiences you want to have in your neighborhood and with your neighbors and people around you. And in the opposite, where do you need to surrender in terms of what is showing up and allow new things to come into your life? And what showed up here is the King of Pentacles. And this is such a beautiful card for Aquarius because it is very abundant and it is very laid back at the same time. This king is surrounded by all of these abundance of nature. He has the pentacle on his lap. He is very secure and very grounded in what is happening around him. So Aquarius, when it comes to your mind and how much you want to learn, and how even with Pluto in your 1st house, you are now, your mind is even more busy, you want to learn more, you want to go deeper. So where can you actually just relax? Where can you find that place of surrender? Where can you say no in terms of Saturn, to really find that place inside you when it comes to your mind and your thinking and your mind busyness, to just slow down and really feel into what is important at this time? And then for Pisces rising, we have the Saturn and Neptune conjunction for you happening in your 2nd house. Now, the second house is all about your resources, your skills, inner resources, skills, what you bring to the world, outer resources, money, and things that you own that bring you money, and how you relate to your inner and outer wealth. And what showed up for Pisces is the Page of Pentacles. And this is all about being curious. The page is that younger energy that is open to new things showing up, but also really focusing on the goal. So there's something here for Pisces to really bring that beginner's mind. Like, where do you need to be more open and surrender while staying focused on the goal, and really bring that sense of, maybe I don't know, how can I know more, who can show me more, and bringing that curiosity to what wants to show up for you in terms of your skills and how you work with your money. How you make money even can be shifting at this point in time. Where do you need to have more discipline in how you deal with your money, how you invest your money, how you learn new skills in your life? And on the other hand, where do you need to say no now and actually surrender and use those skills and resources that you already have in order to really move forward at this time? So those are all the rising signs. I hope that you found value in that. I really wish you a beautiful conjunction. I want to end with the fact that with Saturn and Neptune, the conjunction itself is happening on the 20th of February. And then they are still going to be quite close together in that 3-degree range until the end of March. So this energy is gonna be quite strong until the end of March. And then Saturn is moving faster than Neptune, so then Saturn is moving further and further away from Neptune, but it is still in what we call a sign-based conjunction. So Saturn and Neptune are still going to be together in the sign of Aries until April of 2028. So between now and April 2028, we've still got about 2 years of them being together. And obviously this seed now being planted with the two energies merging on the 20th of February is going to bring a new storyline into our lives. So thank you so much for being here, and I will be back very soon. We are still in eclipse season, and so many new things are unfolding and changes happening. And depending, of course, on where all of these things fall for you in your personal chart, you'll feel it more or less strongly than others and people around you. So I am offering personal readings at this time. I also have some beautiful group offers that you can tap into. I'm running a lovely moon cycle group at the moment, and for this month the group is already going, but if you want to join for the moon cycle of March and April, you are welcome to get in touch with me, and I will see you again soon.